The wind howled through the skeletal trees of Blackthorn Hollow, a forgotten valley where the sun seemed afraid to linger. Clara Everett, a journalist chasing a story about missing hikers, stood at the edge of the forest, her breath fogging in the frigid October air. Her phone had no signal, and the map in her hand was useless against the labyrinth of gnarled branches. She'd heard the rumors, whispers of occult vanishings and something older than the trees themselves, but Clara was no stranger to danger. Her flashlight beam danced across the path, revealing a crude wooden sign etched with the words, "Turn back. They sing at night." A chill crawled up her spine, not from the cold, but from the faint hum she swore she heard, like voices carried on the wind. Clara ignored the warning, her curiosity outweighing her fear. The hum grew louder as she ventured deeper, a dissonant melody that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. The forest was unnaturally silent. No birds, no rustling leaves, just the hum, now joined by faint whispers. She stumbled upon a clearing where the trees formed a perfect circle, their branches twisted into unnatural shapes, like hands reaching for the sky. In the center stood a stone altar stained with dark, glistening patches. Clara's heart pounded as she approached, her flashlight catching carvings on the stone, faces frozen in screams. The whispers grew into words she couldn't understand, and the air felt heavy as if the forest itself was watching. She reached out to touch the altar, but a sudden crack behind her made her spin around. Her flashlight beam caught nothing but shadows. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. No answer, only the hum, now pulsing like a heartbeat. Clara backed away from the altar, her eyes darting between the trees. Then she saw it, a figure, cloaked in tattered rags, standing at the edge of the clearing. Its face was hidden, but its head tilted as if studying her. The hum surged, and Clara's knees buckled as a wave of nausea hit her. The figure took a step forward, and she ran, branches tearing at her clothes as she fled deeper into the forest. The forest seemed to shift around her, paths twisting and trees closing in. Clara's lungs burned, but she didn't stop, the hum chasing her like a predator. She tripped over a root and fell, her flashlight rolling into the underbrush. Darkness swallowed her, and the whispers returned, now clear enough to make out, "Join us. Sing with us." Panic clawed at her chest as she scrambled to her feet, blindly stumbling forward. Her hand brushed something cold and slick, a wall of stone. Groping in the dark, she realized she'd found a cave. The hum was deafening now, vibrating in her bones. Against her better judgment, she stepped inside, hoping to escape the figure. The cave was damp and narrow, the air thick with the smell of earth and decay. Clara's hands traced the walls as she moved deeper, her eyes adjusting to the faint glow of bioluminescent moss. The hum softened, but the whispers grew insistent, overlapping in a chorus of voices. She froze when her foot nudged something soft. Kneeling, she found a backpack torn and covered in mold. Inside were a hiker's journal and a Polaroid photo of a smiling couple. The journal's last entry read, "They won't let us leave. The singing never stops." Clara's blood ran cold. The photo slipped from her fingers, and as it hit the ground, the hum roared back, louder than ever. She shoved the journal into her coat and pressed on, the cave widening into a vast chamber. The moss illuminated a grotesque sight. Dozens of human figures, their bodies woven into the walls like macabre tapestries. Their eyes were open, unblinking, and their mouths moved in sync with the hum. Clara gagged, stumbling backward, but the voices grew louder, chanting her name. "Clara, Clara," she screamed, her voice swallowed by the chorus. Then she saw the cloaked figure again, standing at the chamber's center, its rags falling away to reveal a face that wasn't human, hollow, eyeless, with a mouth stretched impossibly wide. It raised a hand, and the hum became a shriek. Clara turned to run, but the cave walls seemed to pulse, closing in. She tripped and fell, her hands sinking into the moss, which writhed like living flesh. The figure glided toward her, its mouth emitting a sound that wasn't a hum but a song, a horrifying, beautiful melody that burrowed into her mind. She clawed at her ears, but the song was inside her, urging her to join the choir. Her vision blurred, and she saw flashes of the missing hikers, their faces contorted in ecstasy as they sang. Clara's scream died in her throat as her body began to move against her will, her lips parting to hum. But Clara was a fighter. With every ounce of willpower, she bit her tongue, the pain snapping her back to herself. She scrambled to her feet and ran, the song clawing at her mind. The chamber seemed endless, but she spotted a narrow tunnel and dove into it, the walls scraping her skin. The figure's shriek followed, but Clara didn't look back. The tunnel led upward, and she clawed her way toward a faint light. She emerged into the forest, gasping, the hum fading but still echoing in her skull. The cloaked figure was gone, but the trees seemed to lean toward her, their branches whispering her name. Clara stumbled through the forest, her body aching, her mind fraying. She found her car at the trailhead, the keys still in her pocket. As she drove away, the hum lingered, softer but persistent, like a parasite in her thoughts. She didn't stop until she reached her apartment, locking the door and collapsing on the floor. The journal from the cave lay beside her, its pages fluttering open to a new entry she didn't remember writing. "You can't leave. The choir is forever." Clara's scream echoed through the empty apartment as the hum surged again, and from the shadows she heard the first notes of the song. Days later, Clara's editor received a package containing her notes and the journal, but no sign of Clara. The police searched Blackthorn Hollow but found only the altar, now clean of stains. Locals whispered that the forest had claimed another voice. Meanwhile, in a distant city, a woman with Clara's face but hollow eyes joined a street choir, her voice blending into a haunting melody that made passers-by shudder. The choir grew and the hum spread, a song that never stopped, binding its singers to an eternal, hollow hymn.